On November 26, 1930, a piece of news is published on the front page of the Meriden Daily Journal newspaper in Canada, entitled Village of the Dead. This news caused a wave of fear in the whole of Canada, because in North Canada, a whole tribe had disappeared without a trace, night and day. Welcome again to Recap English's videos. Viewers, in the remote area of North Canada, this is Anjikuni Lake, on the banks of which a small settlement called Eskimo tribe lived. This is the area of North Canada where not thousands, but hundreds of thousands of people live in the area of lakhs of square kilometers. And the reason for this is the harsh weather here. In the Anjikuni Lake, in addition to fish, other animals are also hunted in the surrounding area. And for this, many hunters keep coming here. This was the coldest day of November 1930 when a hunter named Lebel came to hunt in this area. He was so busy hunting that he didn't even know when it was dark. He had an idea that he would spend the night by the lake Anjikuni in a tribe called Eskimo. The people of this tribe were famous for welcoming people from outside. So, Joe Lebel packed his things and started walking towards Eskimo. It was a moonlit night, but there was complete silence in the distance. No one was visible, and no one's voice. He could only hear the sound of his own footsteps. Although Joe had done this before, but today, something was definitely abnormal. So normally, when he would go near the settlement, he would hear the barking of dogs, which the people of the settlement had kept. But today, even when he came near the settlement, it was only desolate and quiet. Feeling all this, Joe increased his pace. He thought that the villagers were sleeping or had gone somewhere. Now, from a distance, he was able to see the tents of the settlement, from which smoke was also visible. But even when he got close, he could not hear anyone's voice. Finally, when Joe Lebel entered the settlement, he was surprised to see that there was neither a human nor an animal here. But for Joe, the surprising thing was that smoke was coming out of some of the houses, as if someone was inside them. He randomly went to a tent, but no one was there, and the same was the case with all the tents. Maybe Joe would have left this whole scene unnoticed, but there was one thing that put Joe in more trouble. In some houses, the cooking utensils were on top of the stove, but the food was burnt in them. That is, someone had kept food for the night, but they could not eat it. Even the women of the settlement who used to sew clothes, those clothes were also present there, and there was also thread in the needle. It seemed that the people of the settlement had suddenly left here. But where did they go? Joel Bell began to search the entire settlement. He saw that the dogs that the tribe had kept had a rope tied around their neck, but the dogs had died of hunger. Although there was food in front of the dogs, but there was no one to give them food. At one place, he saw a grave being dug. Looking at this grave, it seemed that it had not been long since it had been dug. It had not been long. This is the story of Joe Lebel, a man who had a lot of anxiety and fear. He was alone at night, and he was very scared to see all this. When people go somewhere, they always keep their dogs with them. But after seeing all this, it seemed that something strange had happened here. There has been an incident that has forced people to go somewhere suddenly. They were so helpless that they left their dogs, clothes, food, and even the burning fire. Joe couldn't bear to see all this for a long time and soon reached the telegraph office nearby. From there, he contacted the camps of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and told them what he saw. When the police reached the village, what Joe Lebel had told was proven to be true. Police suspected that someone attacked here and killed all the people of the settlement. But if this had happened, there would have been bloodstains in the settlement. If there was no blood, then some things would have been scattered due to the beating. The police immediately started a search operation to find the villagers. In this search operation, a very unique thing was found that no one had noticed. The whole settlement was covered in snow, but there were no footprints on the snow. There were only the footprints of one person, and he was Joe Lebel's relative. That is, if no one other than Joe had come to this settlement and no one else had gone, then where did the people of the settlement go? There was snow on the lake as well, and the boats of the people of the settlement were standing on the ground. Because there were no fish in this season, the boats were pulled to the ground and parked. If the people of the settlement had gone somewhere by swimming in the lake, or had been killed by someone and thrown in the lake, then the layer of ice on the lake would have broken or scattered somewhere. The police also found out in the investigation that these people who had disappeared 8 days before coming here had, because dogs don't die because of hunger for 1 or 2 days, and the smoke coming out of the houses was a sign that it was not too long since they left here, because it was the smoke that went out for a long time, even after the wood was extinguished. There were a lot of questions before the police, but no answer. After months of search operations, the police finally put an end to this case with an unsolved case, and with time, people forgot about it. After 50 years of this incident, in 1984, a writer named Roger Boer and Nigel Blundell wrote an article and tried to connect this whole matter with aliens. He said in his article that when they went to explore this area near Anjikuni Lake, they met a hunter and his 2 sons there. He said that he has often seen some flying objects on the lake that have different shapes, and they were flying towards the same settlement where the Eskimo tribe lived. This story was told as a base that perhaps aliens had landed that night and took all the people in the settlement into their hands. There was no solid evidence to support the existence of aliens or their attacks. That's why most people did not believe it and rejected the theory. After this, many people started making different stories about the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe. But the fact is that this incident is 100 years old, but no one has the answer to this question. After all, where did the people of the Anjikuni Lake settlement go without any signs? The disappearance of the Eskimo tribe has been a mystery to this day. I hope you will like and share this video of Recap English. Thank you so much